Hi, my name is Velvet Curse and welcome to Let's Play Niche Survivors Cove. So, the last time we tried to do a little bit of exploring with the twins and we didn't really find a whole lot, but that's alright, there's still a lot more of this island to explore, so we don't have to worry too much just yet. We've got a fair amount of food, but I'd like to top that up a little bit more now that we're getting more and more creatures. But of course we discovered that Adam and Eve are getting very old and don't have a lot of life left. So we need little Nunaduk here to vacate the nest so that Adam and Eve can have one more baby before Adam passes on, and then Eve just one day after him. So if we skip the day to the next day, and Adam passed away immediately, so when they have one day left, that doesn't mean that they get an extra day, that means that that's their last day. So that's alright, Adam and Eve won't have another baby, but we did decide that Nunaduk was going to be mated to Izanako, which is why she has that orange gem. So now he is old enough to have his first gem, so we will change it orange so that we know that he is going to be her mate. And we will hop him out of the nest so that he's not taking that up. We might as well have Eve scoop the rest of that nest back up, because we're not going to use it for a little while because he's still only a tiny baby, even though he has his first gem now. So if we hop her back up here so that she can gather from this berry bush and we don't lose that food, and we can have little Dooku collect his nuts from here because he's got the nimble fingers, he's able to pick them up, and then we can have him remove this grass because I knew there was a berry bush right there. Now Izanako, although she was exploring with her spiky sister here, Coco, we don't want her to go too far because her mate Nunaduk is down this way, and he can follow her up there a little bit later on once he's a bit older, but for now he can't move very far. So while that mole's facing that way, I'll have her move across and swipe at it so we can get the extra meat from the mole, and that takes up her turn, but it also gives us quite a lot of food from there. So little Taku down here is still sat in the water. He probably won't be able to do Razor Arnia is this fish apparently, so he probably won't be able to catch this fish because he doesn't really have any fishing skill, but we'll give it a go anyway just to see what happens. He's not able to catch the fish, but we won't really worry about that too much, so he can stay down there in the water for the time being. He's alright there, he's not going to drown in the shallows. And we'll be able to move back up here to Coco, who is doing her best to explore more of the island, so we can get rid of some of that grass so that she can see a little bit further. That didn't really open all of that much up to us, but that did end the turn, so we can skip the turn. And Eve has now passed away, which is quite sad, but she was old and she didn't get hurt during her life, so she had quite a good life. And we've got the rain, so the berry bush has come back into play, so we'll move Taku back up. Now he doesn't have his mother's protection to pick any leeches off him that he might pick up. We'll move him out of the water and he can just take her place for now in picking up those berries. And there is in fact a leech down there, so hopefully that shouldn't be able to get him from all the way down there. That should just sit down there, but if it does manage to get him, Nunaduk isn't too far away, so we'll move Nunaduk over here so that he can get the berries as well, and that also ends his turn. But he's getting a little bit older, so we might be able to have more babies soon. Now Izanako still does have 11 days remaining on her life, but if possible I would like her to breed rather shortly because now we don't have Adam and Eve. We haven't found any wandering creatures yet, so we haven't been able to up our gene pool. So if she moves over here and collects some of this grass, then that opens this little bit up for us a little bit more, and we can get Dooku here, who is our expert acorner. I don't know whether that's what you'd call it, but to pick up his acorns, remove some grass, and he can get some of the berries as well, so that we've got a little bit more food. And then Coco seems to be the adventurous one, so she seems like she would carry on a little bit further even without her sister and open up more of this grass. It seems like there might, yes, there's a mole right there, so she has uncovered that mole now. There still doesn't seem to be any other creatures around or about, no carnivores, but no wandering creatures or roaming creatures either, so we're going to have to explore a little bit further for them. So we'll skip the day again, and now Taku has grown up a little bit more, and I think he would probably be at the age now that he would be looking for perhaps a girlfriend of his own. So I think I'm going to take him off in this direction and see if he can also explore a little bit more in this direction, because for all we know there could be some wandering creatures over here. And while Coco is going to go a little bit more in this direction and collect some more of this grass to get it out of our way. Now you can move through the grass without collecting it, but because it's very poor visibility because of all the long grass, you can only move one tile in the grass while it's still there, so you don't have to pick it all and get it out of your way, but I like to do that so that they can move more tiles and be able to see better as well. Oh, there we go. So we do have a little female down here by the name of Reem, or Reme, would it be Reem? We'll call her Reem anyway. So let's see what she has. So she has short-sighted eyes again, so they maybe are going to be a problem for us, but she also has a claw as well as her runner leg, so that will actually give her extra attack. So she's going to be a reasonably high attack creature, but she also has the lean body, but she carries the big body, so that isn't really that big of an issue. Now she has completely different immunity genes. We don't have I or F in our creatures at all, so she can breed to whoever we would like her to breed to, but she has quite low fertility. Now there's not a lot that I can do about that right now, because we don't have any fertility genes that we can put on her that's higher than normal fertility, so we'll just have to deal with that for now. But let's use Izanako to invite her into our tribe, which again takes 5 food like it did when Adam invited Eve. And then we can uncover her so that she's not completely buried in the grass there. And let's see, well, we have a mate already for little Nunu Duke down here, so she's going to want to mate with one of the boys over here. So we've either got Dooku or we've got Taku. Now Taku is going to go off and see if he could find his own mate, so I'm not sure he would want basically one of his sister's friends being introduced and finding a mate that way, whereas Dooku, our little acorn gatherer, doesn't seem to like to travel that much by himself, so he might be quite interested in meeting his sister's friend and having a few babies with her. So they both have the short-sighted eyes, so let's pop the normal eyes into his genetics so that they don't get overrun too much. And then he doesn't really have any other big issues, and we haven't really unlocked any other genes thus far. So what I might do, just to see if we could get something interesting, is pop the mask into his genetics, because we don't actually have any markings at all on our creatures just yet, so it might be nice to get some mask stripe spots into some of their genetics. We know she also, little Reem also has the short-sighted eyes, so we'll pop the full eyes into her genetics so that she should hopefully not pass that on to her children. And then we have the same issue with her, whereas we can't really up her fertility because we only have low fertility at the moment until we survive 50 days for normal fertility and 100 days for high fertility. So what we might do in that case, if we're going to pop mask onto her mate, we might pop dots onto her and see if we can have some spotted creatures as well, so maybe we'll get dots and spots. So we'll have her pick up some of the food down here, and then she can use her last turn to move over a bit closer to her mate, so that hopefully next turn they can have a baby of their own, and we'll get a third generation. So it'll be Adam and Eve's grandchildren that they sadly weren't alive to meet, but I'm sure they won't mind that too much. So Nunaduke now can pick up some of these berries, and that's actually all of the berries on that bush until we get more rain. So he can move up a little bit closer to his mate, so that hopefully they can maybe have a baby next turn as well. And we can get Dooku, our nut the gatherer, of course, to gather up our nuts, and then he has the berry bush behind him that he can pick up more berries as well. So that's all of our turns for this turn. So we can pass over the day, and then Dooku is actually a little bit older than his brother Tarku here, so I think I want him to start having babies first. So we should have Reem come down to him a little bit, and she can breed with him. And it actually worked first time, even though she's got low fertility. So, well, she has normal fertility but lower than his fertility, so that wasn't too bad. So we'll have her set up a nest right there next to her mate, so that she's not very far away from him. He can get the nut out of her nest for her, because I'm sure she wouldn't really want that to be there. And he can pick up the last of those berries and clear some of the grass for his brother. So his brother is still going to go exploring this way a little bit, so we will have a little bit of a sniff and a listen, and that doesn't really provide us with much information, so we'll remove some of the grass so that he can carry on his exploration a little bit more next turn. Now little Nunaduke here might actually be interested in trying to get this mole, because he can get up there fast enough to not scare it away. So let's do that, and he can pick up that meat next turn while we wait for him to grow up, so that he can have babies with his mate Isnarko over here. Oh, and we forgot to change their gems. So we don't want them to be orange because the other pair are orange, so we will change them to blue so that we know they are a pair and have been mated together. And Izanarko can take the grass off the berry bush so that we can see it properly and pick up the berries. And then we will have her dig. Oh, she was actually able to get the root out of the ground there, so we got a little bit of extra food out of that, and also got more points towards that Diggerpaw gene that we might want in the future. And then Coco again can go scurrying into the grass, and we will have another little, well, there's bunnies up there if we have a sniff, so we can sense bunnies and a lot more berry bushes. And if we have a listen, we can see the bunny and the mole here. So while she's sat right next to this mole, we might as well collect that meat for next turn, because nobody's going to steal the meat from us while she's asleep. And we will have to skip the turn now and see what little Reem's first baby looks like. Okay, so he didn't get any of the mask or the spots that we put into mutation menus, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. That is just purely aesthetics, because we don't need camouflage right now, so we're not too worried about that. So his fertility isn't too bad, even though his mother only had the normal fertility. So he has the home immunity and the immunity eye, so that passed on. Unfortunately, so did the short-sighted eyes, so we still have that running in the family, but he has inherited the poison fangs in his recessive gene, so we could get that showing a bit later on. And he has the nimble fingers, so that has passed on, which is good. We might want his mother's claw to pass on at some point or other, but we don't have to worry about that immediately. So let's, before we forget, for if he has any babies in the future, just put his normal eyes in his genetics so that we can't forget to do that. And his mother can't use the nest again immediately because he can't immediately move out of the nest. So, oh, there we go, there's another nest. So if we have Dooku actually breed with Reem, and it worked, so that we can have Reem move up to the nest, and she is in the nest to be able to have her baby on the very next turn, so she didn't need that nest right away. And then we have Nunaduk has actually grown up now, so Izanako will be able to breed with him this turn, so we might actually use Reem's old nest down here once her new little baby has moved out of it. His name is currently Vankirnu, but I think we'll change that because now he is our third line, our third generation. So what should we call him? His mother was new to the pack. He looks like he has little flames on his head actually, with that fairly bright orange mane, so I might actually call him Flame for his mane, and that would be an easier name for me to be able to remember for him. So next time when Flame can move out of that nest, his auntie Izanako will be able to move into the nest and have a baby. So if we have her scoop up some of these berries so that we don't leave those behind, and then she can move down near her mate and breed with him so that she'll be able to move into that nest on the next turn and be able to have her baby right after that. And then we can have Nunaduk pick up the meat that he got last turn so that that isn't left sat around, and he actually has 2 turns left, so he can come up here a little bit and help Coco clear some of this grass out. Now Coco is still doing some exploring, looking for a mate up here to see if we can find another wandering creature. If we can't, we might breed her with Flame because they have separate immunities, and she is getting a little bit old now. She's only got 8 days left, so if she survives until he grows up and she still hasn't got a mate, we might do that. But for now, she can carry on her exploring, clear the grass, pick up the mole meat that she got and clear some more grass so that we have more territory available to us. Dooku, as per usual, can pick up his nuts because he likes his nuts apparently, and pick up his berries so that all the berries are cleared off that bush. And Taku can move into the grass and clear some of this grass from around Reem so that she isn't so buried, and he's continuing looking this way towards this port to see if there's any creatures down there. Who knows, maybe they travelled back this way from the port and they might be making their way towards us right now. So that's all of the creature's turns for this turn. So we'll have a look at what Reem's baby looks like. Oh, and there's some rain, so all of the berries will come back now on the bushes, which is quite good. So let's have a look. Messiah, it sounds a little bit like Maya, and she's got this lovely brown colour, so I might call her Maya to go with her brother's Flame. Okay, so she has unfortunately the no fertility that her mother has, but she also picked up the high fertility from her father, so hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. She carries the ram corns. Unfortunately, she does carry the short-sighted eyes, so that is proving a little bit hard to breed out of our creatures. But none of them are actually short-sighted so far, so that hasn't really been a massive issue to us yet. So Reem has just had 2 babies back to back, so I don't really want her to have too many babies too quickly, so if she does a little bit of exploring this way but stays close to her baby so that Maya isn't left on her own, we can have Flame hop out of this nest so that Izanako can move into it. What she can actually do is come down here, pick up some of these berries and then hop into the nest, so that she's provided us with a little bit of food for her extra turns as well. And then we can have Dooku, as always, collect the nuts and his berries, and we've got a lot more food. And then Taku can continue his grass clearing from down here. Well, there's quite a lot of moles down here, but there doesn't appear to be very many creatures. There's some bunnies as well apparently, but there's still no creatures. So Nunaduke has now been overrun by the grass, because that was grass that grows back. So when the rain fell, he ended up in a little bit of a grass patch, but that doesn't matter. We won't bother clearing that grass out again. We'll move him down here a little bit and clear some of this. So this island is not proving to be that fruitful in extra genetics for us as of yet, but who knows, Coco might find some other creatures up here. So there's another nest. So actually Nunaduke and his mate Izanako over here could move up to that nest and possibly clear out that area a little bit more as well, so that we don't have too many creatures all in the same area, all vying for the same food. So we'll skip to the next day and see. There we go, Izanako had her first baby. Oh, and he has Adam's poison fangs, and he has Adam's stripes, and he's got really good fertility, and he also carries the ram horns and has the big body. So actually he looks a lot like his grandfather Adam would look. So with that in mind, maybe we should give him an A name to go after his grandfather. So we'll call him Adrian, so that he's named fairly close to his grandfather. And he also has the B and G immunity genes as well, so he doesn't really have anything that we haven't seen before in his immunity genes, but at least he won't get sick, so that's not really an issue. So we will have Izanako now. She can leave little Adrian in the capable hands of her brother here and move up to swipe at this mole so that she can give us some extra food. She won't mind leaving Dooku to watch over Adrian while he gathers his nuts and his berries, and he can actually push the tree and knock a lot of berries down for the next turn. And Flame has the nimble fingers as well, so he can pick up some of the nuts to help Dooku out with all of those nuts that he's just knocked out of the tree. And then Maya here can actually hop out of the nest so that it is usable again, but I won't have Reem immediately have another baby. We'll wait a couple of turns so she can pick up some of these berries and uncover that berry bush so that we can actually see it. And then Taku can continue his journey into looking for a mate over here, which he still hasn't found. It doesn't seem like there's going to be very many creatures over here, but it is always worth a look in every little spot of grass because you never do know what's going to pop out. So Nunaduke, I would like to move up here towards this other nest, but there doesn't seem to be as much food up here. Now I think we did spot some berry bushes further up that way, so maybe we could have another little tribe of creatures further up this way with these berry bushes using this nest once Coco uncovers them a little bit more. So if we have, yep, there's one of those berry bushes, so if we have Coco uncover that so that we can see it, and she can grab a couple of those berries just in case, because if the bunnies get around the berries and you can't see them and you don't chase them away, the bunnies will actually eat the berries as well. So sometimes you find berry bushes with all of the berries eaten from them, and that could be why, because you might have an infestation of bunnies eating your berries where you can't see them. So we will skip the day and allow some of our babies to grow up a little bit more. And then Maya, so Maya has the A and the F immunity genes. So let's see, who do we have that does not have a mate yet? So little Adrian has the G and the B, so they're about the same age and they would be really good to be bred together. And she doesn't carry the poison fangs, sadly, so probably most of their babies will not have the poison fangs because it's a recessive gene. But they at least do match up in immunity genes and aren't that closely related. So we have an orange and a blue pair, so we will move to the third colour, which is pink. So we'll have each of the first gems changed to pink, so that we know that in the future, once they're a little bit older, they can actually breed together. So for now, we will just have Adrian move out into this grass here, so he's a little bit camouflaged, and he can leave the nest bare for us to use if we want to. Now, Izanako's mate has moved all of the way up here, so she is going to follow him and then uncover him from the... Oh, I didn't mean to click that, I meant to uncover the grass, but that's okay, she can sit in the grass now, and since she's there anyway, we will have a little bit of a sniff and a listen around. Still seems like there's a load of bunnies and moles and a couple of roots, but not too many other creatures. So we will have Coco pick some of this grass, and actually there's another berry bush over here, we can't see it that well, there we go. There's another berry bush over there in the grass. So if we have her move over and remove the grass from the berry bush, somebody can sit between both of these berry bushes and pick all of the berries off there while she continues to go up there and explore a little bit more. But she's getting fairly old now, she only has 5 days left. So it may mean that she's not going to get to have any children of her own, but that's alright because she can see that her twin sister Izanako has had a little baby of her own and will also be having more babies very shortly, so she shouldn't be too worried about that. Now Reem can pick berries because of her runner leg, but her claw means that she is not particularly good at picking berries, she's actually better at fishing. So I think what I will do with little Reem is move her down here, and she can have a look for fish. This mole is also here while she's sat next to it, so let's pick up that mole for now. But she is actually better at fishing and hunting than she is at gathering berries. So Taku can pick some more of this grass up so that we can see a little bit better, and Maya can actually come out here and pick some of this grass up, and maybe we might sit her between these two berry bushes because she has the nimble fingers and she'll be able to pick quite a lot of berries from those bushes for us as well. So Flame, while he is still quite young, can move down to this berry bush and start picking from this one so that we don't completely have nobody picking from this berry bush, because that would be a waste. Dooku, as always, can gather his acorns and pick from this berry bush. And we actually have a crabbit up here. Now the crabbits you can only attack when you're behind them, but they turn to face you if you move around them, so you actually need 2 creatures working together to be able to get the crabbit meat, but they do give quite a lot of meat. So we might actually have Nunuduke and his mate here work on this crabbit next turn. So if I move him this way and move this grass, you can actually see that the crabbit has turned towards him, so he can't hit the crabbit. But we can pick up some of this grass so that Izanami can come forward and hit the crabbit from behind next turn, and then hopefully we should be able to get the crabbit meat with the teamwork from the 2 of them. So that's all of our creatures' turns for this turn so far. So we'll move on to the next turn, and then we have all of their turns back, and little Adrian can now move, and he's got his poison fang, so he's going to be quite good at hunting as well. So if he moves up here, he can get that mole and he can pick up that meat next turn. So Maya, as we said before, can move between the 2 berry bushes and can pick up the berries so that they are not wasted, and Taku can continue his exploration down here. See, that berry bush has been picked clear, there are no berries left on the food, and as I picked the grass I saw a rabbit scamper off in that direction, so that will be because that rabbit was actually eating all of those berries from that bush, and that's why there's none left. So Reem can actually go down into the water just a little bit. We don't want it to go too far, but I want to light up some of this section to see if there are any fish. It doesn't seem like there are, so but the bunny has gotten too close to her, so we can get that bunny next turn. The bunny meat has been left in the grass there, but there's no fish for her to catch around here at the moment, so we'll probably take her out of the water just in case of leeches very shortly. So Dooku can pick up his nuts as per usual and his berries, and then with his last turn, because there are no nuts and berries around in the area that he can get to, I will have him shove the tree again to knock more down, and then he's able to next turn. So I believe we just unlocked a new gene because of that, and we'll have to click on somebody who doesn't have 2 genes. So what did we actually unlock? Oh, we unlocked Nimble Fingers. So now if we start getting into difficulty with the Nimble Fingers gene, we can put that into our mutation menu and get that back into the creatures, but we're not particularly bad with the Nimble Fingers gene so far, so we don't need it right away, but that is a good one to have locked. So Little Flame here can help pick up some of the nuts that are on this side of the tree, and then some of the berries as well, so that we've got quite a lot of food coming in. And then we said last time we would have Izanako move forward and she can swipe at the Crabbit. See, now she has hit it, it has turned around to face her, so Nunaduk can actually hit it as well, and it has died, so we will be able to pick up that meat, and that gives us a fair amount of meat between the two of them. And actually, while that's been going on, strangely enough, this rabbit has jumped behind Coco. I don't know how her big spikes on her back didn't dissuade it from doing that, but we will pick up the rabbit with her, so she has rabbit meat and she continues a little bit more of exploration. So if we don't find another creature very shortly on this island, we might actually have to move, because we don't want all of our creatures to become inbred with just the same immunity genes. So we did get Meme from this island, and she brought us some new immunity genes, but we need more than just one new female creature. So we'll do one more turn for this video, I think. So everybody has used their turns. Oh, we have some rain, so now all of the berry bushes will be back to full strength with the berries. So we have the berries down here again, but what I would actually like Meme to do is she can pick up her meat so that we don't leave that behind, but then I would like her to jump back here into the nest so that little Dooku can jump over, and hopefully he wasn't able to breed with her because of her poor fertility. So we'll do that next turn, but we will try and have another baby between those two, because Dooku is getting slightly old now, so he only has 5 days remaining, so I would like another baby out of them before he passes away. That bunny seems to be swimming in the water for some reason, but never mind that. So Taku continue his exploration. He can pick up a couple of berries in the meantime. I thought I heard some growling there, maybe not. We'll just have Coco have... Oh, there is a creature here, so we don't know whether this could be a rogue creature or it could be a wandering creature. So if it's another wandering creature, we can have it join us like little Meme did. But if it is a rogue creature, we can't actually control them and they won't join us, but they will breed with our females if it is male and they get too close. So what we will do is we will have Nunaduk go over to investigate just in case it is a rogue creature, but it is not. It is a male, and unfortunately he is blind, so we don't really want that to be passed on to our creatures, but he does... Oh, he is infertile anyway. So what I may actually do is not invite him, because he can't add to our gene pool because he is infertile and can't have any babies, and he is also blind, so he won't be able to explore for us, and he also has a deformed paw and a claw, so he actually can't pick up berries either. So the only thing he can do is hunt, but when a creature is blind they cannot move unless they are in the eyesight of another creature lighting up the path. The other creature lights up the path for them so that they can actually basically tell them where to go and guide them. So he would not be able to explore for us, he would not be able to pick up berries, he would not be able to breed, and he would also not be able to hunt because we would have to send somebody with him to do that. So I think I will just leave him there. He can hang around our creatures as much as he wants. I'm not going to chase him away, but I also won't invite him into the pack and use our food because he's not going to be able to contribute anything to us. So Izanako is getting a little bit old now, so we will have her have another baby with her mate Nunaduke over here. So she has again become pregnant, and while she sits there she can get those berries, so she is on the nest and she can have that baby. Also, I believe there is a rabbit somewhere around here. I can see the leaves getting scattered, so we will take the remaining berries off that bush so that the rabbit cannot eat them all, and we'll uncover our little wandering male here so that he's not sat off in the grass all on his own. And again, the rabbits apparently are not afraid of Coco, so Coco can pick up that meat from that rabbit and pick up that grass also, so that we can see a little bit further. So Adrian killed this mole last time, so we can pick up the meat from him removing the mole for us, and we'll hop him over into this grass so that he can clear the grass next time. Flame can get his berry bush down here and his acorn down here that his uncle has dropped down for him, and Maya can move just a little bit further around so that we can see what's in this grass, but she can also pick up the berries from this berry bush so that we have a little bit more food. Now that is all of our turns, so I think I will leave it there for this video. If you like the videos, you like the game, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, anything that you would like to do. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, and I will put updates up when there are videos available on Twitter. I will put my Twitter handle in the comments for anybody who would like to do that. It's @VelvetCurse, the same as my YouTube channel. And thank you for watching, and farewell for now.